Is your hiring process ready for the future? The next decade is going to bring a massive shift in how organizations attract, assess, and select talent. The companies who succeed will be those who embrace change early, those who understand that traditional recruitment methods are no longer enough to meet the evolving workforce expectations. Hi, I'm Stephen from Talent Select, and in this video, I want to explore the trends and some predictions that are shaping the future of recruitment. From AI to skills-based training and candidate experience to ethical concerns around data, I want to talk about some of the key developments that will define the hiring successes in the coming years. Artificial intelligence is already playing a huge role in recruitment, but its presence will expand dramatically. From CV screening and scheduling interviews to analysing video interviews and tone and keywords, automation will continue to streamline the early stages of hiring. However, the future isn't about replacing recruiters. It's about freeing them up for more strategic work. Human intuition, empathy, and decision-making will still play a huge role, especially at the final stages of selection and when dealing with complex, high-stakes hires. Think of AI as a co-pilot. It can speed up processes, highlight patterns, and remove bias from early screening if it's used correctly. But the recruiter is still in the pilot seat, making final decisions based on broader contexts. One of the biggest changes we'll see is a shift away from qualifications and experience as the primary indicators of a good hire. Increasingly, organizations are moving towards skills-based hiring, focusing on what candidates can do rather than what they've done. This trend is driven by several factors: the speed of technological change, the need for adaptability, and the growing realization that traditional CVs don't always tell the full story. Skills assessment, both technical and behavioral, will become standard practice, and they'll be used not only for hiring, but also for internal mobility and workforce planning. With talent shortages in many industries and generations entering the workforce with different expectations, candidate experience will become a key differentiator. Candidates today expect transparency, respect, and timely communications throughout the hiring process. Organizations that provide a seamless, engaging, and respectful experience will be more likely to attract top talent, while those that don't will risk reputational damage. Expect to see a wider adoption of tools like chatbots for real-time questions and answers and personalized video messages from hiring managers, and transparent timelines to enhance the overall journey for candidates. Data is already being used to make hiring more evidence-based, but this will deepen in the coming years. Predictive analytics will allow recruiters to forecast which candidates are likely to succeed in a role based on performance benchmarks and past hiring data. Organizations will be able to refine job descriptions, interview questions, and onboarding processes by analyzing what works and what doesn't. However, ethical considerations will come to the forefront as organizations collect and analyze more and more data. Fairness, privacy, and bias mitigation will be essential to building trust and maintaining compliance with evolving data protection laws. The widespread adoption of remote and hybrid work has changed not just where we work, but how recruitment works. Geography is no longer a limiting factor for many roles, which means that organizations can cast a much wider net, but so can the competitors. This shift will require companies to rethink their value propositions and their employer branding. It also means that hiring processes need to adapt to assess things like remote collaboration skills, self-motivation, and digital communication effectiveness, competencies that weren't always prioritized before. DEI is becoming no longer nice to have, but it's an expectation. Candidates are increasingly making decisions based on how inclusive and equitable an organization is, and shareholders and customers are watching too. The future of recruitment will see more structured efforts to reduce bias, from blind CV screening to structured interviews and inclusive language in job ads. But beyond recruitment, companies will also be expected to show progress in internal mobility, pay equity, and leadership diversity. As the pace of change continues, the best organizations will look inside their own walls before going out to market. Internal mobility will no longer be an afterthought. It's going to be a core part of talent strategy. This means investing in better learning and development pathways, clearer career mapping, and tools that identify skills gaps and potential in current employees. When combined with external hiring, this internal focus helps to build a more resilient and agile workforce, one that's ready to adapt without constantly relying on new hires to fill the gaps. What's clear is that the next decade of recruitment isn't going to be defined by one single trend. It's going to be shaped by the interplay of technology, human insight, and evolving expectations. The organizations that thrive will be those that stay curious, agile, and always focused on aligning their hiring strategies with the business needs. If you found this video useful and you'd like to see more content aimed at supporting hiring managers, learning and development professionals, and business leaders who are looking to select and develop the right talent, please consider subscribing. If you have any thoughts or comments on how you see recruitment evolving in your organization, or if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like to see covered on the channel, please get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. Look forward to speaking with you soon.